Cool. To my younger self, I know how heavy everything feels right now. The shame you've been made to carry, the silence forced upon you, and the way you feel like you don't belong in your own skin after sexual abuse. It's unbearable at times. But I need you to hear this. You are not the pain that's been inflicted on you. You are not weak or broken because of what you've survived. The world would try to make you forget the power of your brown skin. It will tell you it's not enough, that it's something to hide, to lighten, to shrink. But our brown skin is a map of everything we've endured and overcome. The colour of our skin isn't something we can change, but it can be such a source of grief and pain, when actually it's such a beautiful thing. And so I think it just makes me a bit sad that it took me 30 years to see the beauty in my own skin, because we're in a world that doesn't.
Yeah, no, I relate to so much of that.
It really touched me. But I think one thing that stood out to me, and I think a lot of brown girls can relate, is reclaiming your skin. I think growing up in Aotearoa, you're not really surrounded by a lot of people that look like you sometimes, and even on the media, you don't see representation of yourself. So you can kind of get the internal feeling when you're younger and you don't know what it is, that, how come my hair doesn't look like that? How come my features aren't like that? Why does my body not look like that? And I think personally, I went through that journey of kind of reclaiming, I'm a Samoan woman. It's beautiful to be who I am. It's beautiful to be who you are.
My mental health journey was shaped and started early on in my life, as my mum has bipolar, and tragically my stepmom took her own life when I was 12.
I grew up with a parent that had bipolar disorder as well, and I think the experiences of the kids in that home aren't shared enough. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing. I think for me, it came out of a place of just deep love for my dad. I knew growing up, when you're little, that's your hero, your dad, and then as you get older, you see your parents as human. You see them as a child, you see them as these higher beings that tell you what to do. When you grow up, you see them as human. They've gone through their own struggles, and you see another side of them. And I think when people come in and they see just one, a tiny experience of what we have to go through every day at home, it's well, you don't know. Yeah, they have their own hopes and dreams. They have everything like that. You just want to advocate for the person that's deep there, inside of them. But it's hard when you're young, because I remember being just a bit younger than you and telling everyone, no, that's not, it's okay, just being that to everyone. And it's not really a child's role to do that, but you just want the best for your parents, I guess.
First, it was seeing everyone else's parents and being oh, awesome, they're getting to do that, or cool. They go home and they have a great time, which I did 100%. I did great, but those moments where it was harder, it was how I am feeling this emotion of frustration of why can't I have a normal or a life in terms of a normal childhood. And I also think that's why even at 18 now, I'm still just a little kid at heart. I'm still enjoying life. I think just getting to experience that later on, but also process that grief and that frustration later.
But if you go into my room, I've kind of claimed it back. If you go into my room, it looks like a little kid's room. It's all pink, and I have these plushies and everything like that, and just doing things that, I had a fun childhood, despite everything that was going on, but just doing things that little me, or the inner kid in myself would like to do. I think that's one way I've been trying to heal. In my early 20s, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, or known as BPD. For the first time ever, the chaos in my mind had a name. It was really validating to know that my struggles weren't imagined, and I was really relieved to know that there are others who experience the world the same way as I do.
What's it been like having BPD as a Samoan woman?
It was quite hard. I went to school and I had friends, but I felt alone. In the way I experienced everything and my lens on the world. But I feel previously, before colonization, mental health in Samoa, it was embedded it was like a holistic view of mental health, and that's the way our ancestors viewed mental health. So I find peace in knowing that, you know, it's not because it's a Psalm 1 thing to shun mental health or personality disorders, everything like that. It's a process of decolonizing ourselves and being you know, our ancestors, they knew what our holistic well-being was meant to be like. I think that there's so much power in using your culture, using something that hundreds and hundreds of ancestors have brought to you. You're here because of them. There's power in finding strength in that and drawing from that.
They said I was too dramatic, too complex, too needy, too much. They said maybe I would never recover, and I believed them. But I believed the ones who came later too, who saw me, really saw me, and diagnosed me with borderline personality disorder. Suddenly, I had a whole new language. I felt my life, my history, everything I knew of myself click into place.
And what would you say to somebody watching this, experiencing, going through BPD and really relating to experience? What would you say to them that you feel like has helped you?
I think I would say there are people who will believe you and who will ask questions and who will understand. You just might have to fight a bit to get them, but when you do, it will be really healing. And there are so many people out there who have BPD, so many, and no one talks about it, and everyone is so ashamed, and shame is such an inherent part of BPD. And so to even be questioning whether you might have it or trying to advocate for yourself to get diagnosed, you're already combating so much internal and external shame and stigma. And so already you have proven how resilient and brave you are.
I don't have BPD, but I experience those highs and lows, and for so long I judged myself for that so much of oh, look at these normal people who don't feel things so intensely.
Yeah.
And it's only in the last few years that I've started rephrasing that of how lucky am I that I get to experience things so richly.
Yeah. You talked about how the up and down can happen so quickly, and that's really distressing. But in my now, having gone through so much, I can be I'm feeling really bad, but I know that I'm gonna pick myself up soon, and I'm gonna hit a high so soon, and I'm gonna feel so good, and then I'm gonna feel really passionate about something, and that's fun too. And a lot of people with BPD, they have big feelings and they live out loud and they love what they love loudly and without regret or hesitation. The people and the colours and whatever, they're good friends and they're strong allies and really good advocates and passionate community members.
We're really fun to be around, to be honest.
Yeah. And we're good at validating people because we understand the power of invalidation.
At my lowest, I was sleeping in my car, feeling like I didn't belong anywhere and couldn't see a way forward. That was the moment it hit me. I couldn't keep living like that. The first thing I did was admit to myself that I needed help. Honestly, that was the hardest part. I'd spent so much time thinking I had to handle it on my own. But when I opened up to one person, just one, it started to shift things. It wasn't like everything got better overnight, but it gave me a space to breathe. I think I'm on my own journey of learning how to express myself, which is why, and I don't mean it, I hope this comes across as a compliment. I really do envy everybody here how confident and clear you are in communicating your experience. I really, really respect it and I appreciate it. So I think, yeah, if anything, it's given me something that I'm really looking forward to getting to at some point in my life. So yeah, thank you so much for...
I think you're selling yourself short.
No, I was just going to say, from a male perspective and a younger male perspective, I admire you so much. Like hearing that sounded like you were personally, whoa. That sounded like you were reading that to me. And I think every single male person in New Zealand specifically would benefit from hearing someone like you, especially from your generation, and hearing, you know, that it's okay to not be okay and to get to that low point, but actually reaching out. Bro, that's admirable. Like, yeah, you need to, and give yourself that credit, because that's the hardest.
In those small
Harder.
steps.
So much respect for you, because yeah, I admire what you do for sure.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
He aha te mea nui. He tangata, he tangata, he tangata. What is most important? It is people, it is people, it is people. You are one of those people. You are important. You are valued. And I'm so proud of you. That was awesome.
That was amazing.
Like best friends now.
Yeah, honestly. I was so nervous before
Same
this.
time next week or what? Right?